Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Today we're going to cover my second favorite legendary champion, Demon Spawn, Magic Affinity. It is Prince Kymar. This is the second legendary that I've covered here, reviewed on the channel. I'm trying to do most of the popular rares and epic champions first, but I want to cover a few of my favorite legendaries, spread in between. So apologies if you guys don't have him, but you should know what he does because he's really popular, especially in Arena, but he's good all over the place. So in today's video, we're going to talk about how I geared him up. I played him probably more than I have any other legendary inside the game, so if there's anybody I'm super familiar with, it's definitely Prince Kymar. I'm going to tell you the lessons that I learned when playing him, then we're going to take him into the arena in maybe a dungeon or two, just to kind of test him out. So let's start with his skills. So he has a really unique and amazing kit, and also pretty basic to understand, right? So his A1 is an AoE. It's called Phantom Fire. It attacks all enemies, and then it places the strong version of poison, 5% debuff, for one turn if the attack is critical, so we want to be building him with a 100% crit rate. His A2, Abyssal Gaze, is amazing. I love this ability, especially in the arena. Attacks all enemies, removes all buffs, and then places a sleep debuff for one turn. Now, if this can be booked down, to 3 turns as well. Now, if you use this properly in the arena, the sleep, which is generally kind of considered a crappy ability, especially compared to stun, sleep can be incredibly useful. We're going to talk about why and how I utilize this A2, not just as a cleanse to get rid of all my opponent's buffs, but also to really turn the tide into my favor inside the arena. And then his last ability, the ability that he's really known for, is the Seal of Magic. What it does is 6 turns when booked, resets the cooldowns of all your allies' skills, fills the turn meter of all allies except this champion by 20%. So has the turn meter fulfillment of 20%, which is great. And then, of course, the big money ability is it resets the cooldowns on every single ability of all of your allies. Now, ironically, this is the ability that makes him just amazing, just god tier, SS tier champion in the game. But ironically, oftentimes the battle in arena does not even get to the point where I'm using the Seal of Magic. I'm actually using his A2 way more often, and of course his aura, which increases ally speed by 30% inside the arena. So let's go ahead and talk about his masteries before we move on to his artifacts. I'm going to explain why I play him the way I do as well, and other variations that you guys can play with him if you don't want to go my route. There's a few options you have, kind of like every champion. As you guys probably know, you probably have your champions. You understand every little nuance. Okay, what does the battle look like if he's going second? What does the battle look like if he's going first or if he's going last? And then how do I want him to fit into the other team of champions that I have around him, right? Anyway, offense, I'm ending with crit damage, flawless execution. He actually puts out some pretty decent damage on the A2, not so much on the A1, but it has that poison, so it is obviously high damage when you factor in the poison as well. So 2 AoE attacks, flawless execution, the extra crit damage is definitely helpful. One thing I did want to point out is Cycle of Magic here. Cycle of Magic has a 5% chance of decreasing the cooldown of a random skill by 1 turn. So the Seal of Magic, sometimes that can be deactivated or set deactivated. What? The cooldown can be reset on that via the Cycle of Magic. So it's a nice little bonus to have on him. And because we have Cycle of Magic, I passed up on Evil Eye, which I usually have, especially on all my single target A1s inside the arena. Now he's an AoE A1, so only a 5% chance of decreasing that turn meter on his first attack. So for that reason, I think that I'd much rather go with Cycle of Magic on him, and then I end with Sniper as well. Increases the chance of placing any debuff from skills or artifacts by 5%, okay? Let's talk about how I built Prince Kymar. There's only one thing that is suspect maybe on my build. I'll let you guys be the judge, but I'm actually a big fan of it, and again, I'll talk about why. His total stats here, attack is fairly low. He's not putting out a ton of, he's not one of my main nukers on the team, right? Defense is high, which is great. Speed is very high at 252. I don't want him going first necessarily on my team. I have my Seeker going first, or your Apothecary, or whoever's going to be speeding up your team should be going first in my opinion. But going second is great, especially if you want to use, or even going first is okay if you want him to use his Seal of Magic as his first ability to boost the turn meter of all your other allies by 20%. And if you have him in a dungeon, just know that on auto, and the really annoying thing about Kymar is he's always going to lead. He's always going to auto to Seal of Magic, which is really annoying. You really want that being used, not just for the turn meter boost, but also to reset the cooldowns of your OP abilities on all of your other champions, right? So just kind of know that about him. And then I have his accuracy super high at 320, okay? So we're going to talk mainly about the accuracy, but you will note too the 100% crit rate on the money and 156 on the crit damage. So I'm really happy with how I have him built. There is one kind of awkward artifact that I'll talk about as well as we go through here. So in terms of sets, I only have 2 sets on him, a speed and a divine speed. You want to build him out with lifesteal if you're using him primarily in dungeons, or of course you can just speed him up. He does really well with speed sets, especially in the arena. So I have him built for arena right now, but I also use him in level 20 dungeons. He does great in dungeons as well. So divine speed and speed, what am I going for here? I'm really going for that crit rate to get it to 100% in terms of priorities, and then accuracy. For me, I always want to be landing the sleep debuffs because it's an important part of my arena strategy. If you don't care at all, and obviously the poisons help as well. So accuracy for me is really, really paramount for Prince Kymar. So I would treat his speed as kind of number 1, his accuracy and his crit rate as kind of tied for number 2, or all of them tied for in terms of stat priorities, and then you can focus on like attack and crit damage and resist and whatnot, right? But those are definitely the priorities: speed, crit rate, and of course the accuracy. So I'm going to have a lot of accuracy wherever I can get it, or speed wherever I can get it. You can see that this gear is actually really solid because, as I said, he's not only my second favorite legendary champion in the game, but he's also the legendary champion that I use probably the most overall inside the game. He's on my dragon team. He's also obviously in the arena for me. So divine speed, I have a crit rate. Could probably do maybe a little bit better on these gloves, but the crit damage at 18% is actually pretty solid because I already have the crit rate at 100%, right? And then, okay, so I told you, we'll go to his boots. Boots, you definitely want speed, and gauntlets, you definitely want a crit rate on him, unless you can get that crit rate to 100 using other artifacts, which is difficult to do, right? So boots, definitely speed with Kymar. And then check it out. I went with an accuracy chest plate. So some of you guys might be like, accuracy chest plate, but look at the speed on that too. I got a triple roll on speed. So I was like, dude, this is too good to pass up, this piece of gear for me, considering I'm mainly using him in arena and I want his accuracy to be as high as possible. So if you're in dungeons with him and he's dying, definitely put defense on him, put HP on him even, or if you want way more damage, if you need him to be a heavier nuker, go ahead and put attack percentage on him as long as you have that defense and HP built up enough. But for me, definitely accuracy seems to be the way to go, especially on this piece of gear with the speed on it, because that accuracy of 320, and I don't even have my Great Hall all the way maxed out. I can get 10 more from the Great Hall to bring it up to 330. Like that quick math there, guys. Pretty crazy, huh? So 330 when all said and done. And I really want that accuracy over 300 on my Kymar because I plan on using him endgame in the arena, okay? So I want him to land all those sweeps. We'll talk sleeps. We'll talk about why. So we talked about Masteries, artifacts. Let's go ahead and review him here, guys. He's pretty amazing everywhere. Well, maybe not everywhere. He's good in dungeons, good in arena, like I said. He's good in campaign as well. He's great in campaign, great in arena offense. He's great. He's good in Spider's Den, but a lot of that is a seal of magic to reset the abilities of your Royal Guard or your Cold Heart, right? Also, the AoE poison is nice. Don't get me wrong. The AoE sleep is nice too, but just, you know, you have to really have that team synergy. Make sure you're not using his sleep. Why do I keep selling it sweep? Sleep just to wake him up with an AoE attack the next turn, okay? So I'm going to give him a 5, but of course it's really team dependent, as it is with all these scores, right? Campaign locations 5. He's great in campaign. Arena defense, he would be good in arena defense if not for the automatic seal of magic. He has that great aura again, but I'm going to go ahead and give him a 4 because you really don't want him starting. You want him starting out with that A2, okay? Not the A3. Clan Boss, not that great. He does lay poisons, but he's not one of the biggest poison layers in the game. It's more for, you know, dungeons, clearing, AoE. So we'll give him a 3 good on Clan Boss, but certainly nothing to build a team around. And then all the keeps, he's great. Miniatures Labyrinth, he's great. Dragon's Lair, he's fantastic. Definitely a 5 there. Fire Knight, obviously he's not good. Ice Golem's Peak, he's great. Spirit Keep, great. Basically everywhere he can be used. Even Force on the negative affinity, I would say. I'll just put him a 4, but he's still solid because his abilities are really, really good, right? Can still land those poisons, can still sleep if you have that accuracy high enough, and the Seal of Magic, right? So there are his reviews. We'll submit them, and let's go ahead and take him right into the arena where I love him the most. All right, guys, so in the arena, I want to show you how he works and how to build an amazing team around him here. So against his first opponent, the team power is pretty low, but they have Warlord, they have Arbiter, really good Torment, really good team here. So I'm actually going to take out Biggin and add in, like, Madame Cerise. So you guys will see how this team works, specifically Kymar. You don't have to have all of these champions. You don't have to have Krutraxa. All you need is a heavy-hitting single target damage dealer to make this work, and you need a debuffer and a speed manipulator. So Jingle Hunter or Apothecary works too instead of Seeker, depending on who you have in your champion arsenal. So Kymar's going to take lead. He's going to have the increased speed aura, like we talked about, second best in the game at 30%. And this is how it's going to go, guys. It's really cool, right? So I'm using Kymar as my second in line. I'm going to go ahead and get a Provoke on Arbiter. And he goes second, and the reason he goes second is because I want him actually using his Abyssal Gaze rather than his Seal of Magic. By the time if he goes last, you need to have your whole team super fast in order to take advantage of that. And even if you have it super fast, sometimes they're going to die, because what good does it do if he's going last and he resets the ability of all of your allies, all abilities of all your allies, if they all die in the meantime because it's the enemy's turn? This strategy is all about speed. Your guys all go first, and that's why I love having the sleep. What the sleep does is, you can see, boom, it actually missed on one. It missed on the Fu. So what we want to do here is, it doesn't really change our strategy. It actually makes it easier in terms of decision making. But actually use the A2. Now everybody's sleeping. So at this point, I want the turn meters of Warlord and Torment and Arbiter on the opponent's team. I want them to expire, to go all the way. So I do not want to damage them in the meantime. So what I'm going to do is I pick A, the target I really want to kill. Let's pretend they were all under sleep right now. I'll pick the target I really want to kill, and then I'll one-shot them with Krutraxa. Or you guys can use any heavy-hitting, single damage dealer in that spot, right? But you just don't want an AoE because you don't want to wake everybody up. It's paramount that we keep everybody else sleeping. So here we go, and you're going to see how it works right here. We're going to be able to kill him. He's dead. Now, we actually killed him in one shot, so normally that might not always happen. I'm going to go to the target with a Provoke, because I don't mind if I wake her up, because she's just using her A1, and their team power is pretty low, so we killed him anyway. Let's pretend we didn't kill them there. It's not a big deal at all, because they're all asleep, their turn meters are going to expire, they're not going to have a chance to take their turn. So then I use my Cerise, and she has the Midnight Ritual that doesn't do any damage, but decreases their attack and their defense on her A3. So she's not going to wake anybody up, but she casts those debuffs, and look at the turn meters expired, and I'm up again, and we rinse and repeat. That's how this team works. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it on auto till the end, but you guys can see, again, you don't have to have this necessarily exact team. Even if you don't have Cerise, maybe you have another debuffer who doesn't do damage, and even if you don't have that, maybe you just have another single target enemy rather than an AoE nuker on your team. That way you can keep everybody asleep, and that's how this strategy really works. Let's go ahead and face off somebody who's a little bit stronger. This comp is stronger. I don't know why they have the Skull Crown in the lead though, because Charizard has a better speed aura. Anyway, here we go. Let's go. I always like to provoke, if you have a provoke champion like Seeker, I always like to provoke the speed booster. So Apothecary will get the provoke on the other team. That way he can't use his speed boost. Then we put everybody to sleep. Dude, I missed again. I never miss. Well, I shouldn't say never, but I rarely miss. Now, this is an interesting situation here. I'm actually not going to go for Skull Crown because of her ability to be unkillable. So instead, we'll just kind of work our way from left to right, and starting with the biggest threats. So now we get those debuffs on, and you can see the sleep is starting to wear off. So now I'm just going to go ahead and rinse and repeat here, put the provoke on Apothecary, and then just keep it going. Skull Crown's hitting me, but no big deal. Seal of Magic will boost turn meter, and now I can just start one-shotting people. Boom and boom, and then we'll deal with Skull Crown on auto because she's annoying because she never dies. But you guys can see how this team kind of works, you know, what the gist is. I like teams in the arena, and this is what I love about the game the most, right? I love theory crafting a really good like arena composition. It doesn't have to be with Kymar. It doesn't have to be with anybody in particular. You just have to really have a good eye for, okay, I love how these two champions synergize their abilities. What can I do here to keep the ball in my core, to keep my opponent's team from going? Do I have a stun, an AoE sleep champion like Kymar? Can I build a team around them to complement those abilities? So those are all things you have to kind of think about in the arena. And again, I will start an arena series. I've been farming arena a lot, so I haven't been like really pushing as high as I can get. I don't even know how high I can get because I have on my defense just one Diabolus, just chilling, you know? So anyway, I keep dropping a lot of trophies overnight. So let's go ahead and do a dungeon with Kymar. I'll put him on, let's see, Dragon's Lair. Like I said, he's great pretty much everywhere, but on a Dragon's Lair team, I can sub him in here for really anybody, and I think the team would be viable, but let's put him in for Cerise, I guess. He doesn't have the debuffs, which is kind of... I used to run him in my main dragon team, and I think I just switched to that comp. So we'll see. These guys aren't going to be dying. I'm just going to put it on... Maybe I shouldn't have put it on AoE. Again, the Seal of Magic. Frustrating that's his first move. But you guys will get the point here. It's he just fits with a lot of different compositions. The AoE Poison is really nice. The AoE Sleep is really nice. Stick him with a non-AoE team. Again, you can really take advantage of that sleep ability that he has on his A2. So you guys can see that, you know, hopefully I've articulated why I love him so much. I think his kit is great. I really think the remove all bust from the opponents on the A2 is a fantastic ability with the AoE, doing a decent amount of damage, with the 100% crit rate, and of course with the sleep on there. So Kymar's great, man. I think that Kymar is a really cool champion. There are some champions, I don't think anybody has the ability that Seal of Magic, right? I don't think anybody has the reset all allies abilities with the turn meter, or even without the turn meter. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know there's a lot that have like reduced all the abilities by 1 turn or 2 turns, I believe, in the game, but none that has a complete reset like Kymar does. 6-turn cooldown, but it's okay because he's going to be taking more than 6 turns here. And you can see we're actually not making super fast time throughout the first couple rounds of Dragon's 20, excuse me. But eventually we're going to get to that dragon. His poisons are definitely going to help out against the dragon. Obviously, poisons are just S tier. Poison champions are usually just S tier in terms of needing to have one of them inside Dragon's Lair. You ought to build a team with 1 poison dealer. And this team, I have 2. I have Kymar, and I have Bad L on the team. So here we go, 140 into the match. We will get to the dragon. We'll start laying those poisons, and Turbo will start doing his thing, getting more damage off. And of course, there's 2 poisons out the gate. So guys, that is going to do it for the guide for Prince Kymar. If you're lucky enough to have Prince Kymar, let me know what you thought of my guide. Let me know if you kind of agree or disagree with any of my choices in terms of masteries or artifacts, or heck, even if you don't have Prince Kymar, always let me know. I'm really open to your feedback on any of my champions. Hey, maybe I'll learn a thing or 2 about these champions along the way. So you guys can see that, you know, he should be down as soon as my Royal Guard gets his takedown ability. We should be good to go with this battle. There it is, boom. Oh, 600,000 damage, not too shabby. But as you guys can see, not the most impressive time, but still in around 2 minutes and 30 seconds, he goes down. Actually, exactly 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So guys, let's check out these gloves and end the video. We'll keep those gloves. They're actually pretty solid with the defense and the crit rate attack on there. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this content, go ahead and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And as always, take care, guys.